Hey, I'm Mitch Turk from Faring, and we are going to talk about the known unknowns matrix in e-commerce. If you've ever worked on a high-stakes product, you've probably heard of the known unknowns matrix. It's a model for risk management borrowed from a psychological theory on relationship management. We use this model when discussing direct-from-consumer data because managing customer relationships in e-commerce is a huge part of managing risk. So the 4 phases of the matrix can be explained like this. Known knowns, knowledge. You don't need to ask anyone because you hold the knowledge. Known unknowns, awareness. You ask others, your team, your customers, your tools, for the knowledge you're aware that they have. Unknown knowns, bias. You don't know to ask others because you assume to have the knowledge. And finally, unknown unknowns, ignorance. You can't ask anyone because nobody knows. That's a bit much to wrap our heads around, so let's plug in some real examples from e-com brands. Known. We did $2 million in sales last month. Known unknown. What generation do our customers most identify with? Unknown. Facebook's ROAS reporting works well for us. Unknown. When will this customer repurchase? Notice how the known unknowns matrix is always influencing your business, even if you think you know everything. Well, especially if you think you know everything. The real gotcha here is that any topic can fall into different corners of the matrix depending on the questions you ask. And one of the most infamous examples of this is direct traffic. If we're being honest as marketers, many of us simply assume direct traffic is an unsolvable mystery and then operate under that assumption. That's not surprising because direct is just a more palatable term for unknown. But see how we said it's an assumption? That's a symptom of unknown knowns. A competing brand might have better discipline in their UTM tagging, better baseline data and campaign analysis, a post-purchase survey, and so at least some direct traffic can become a known known. That has big implications for you because it means your assumption about direct traffic is creating the blind spot, not the data. Your unknown known is your competitor's known known. At the macro level, a brand run by an overconfident, self-proclaimed expert who hires a bunch of yes men and doesn't talk to customers is going to wall off their growth due to unknown knowns bias. Stacking assumptions like that can easily hinder progress across the org. So, how do you know you're on the right track? In large part, it requires a team mindset of curiosity, humility, and experimentation. The known knowns quadrant expands when you obsess over every other quadrant. We have these conversations a lot because direct from consumer data provides so much insight you can't get anywhere else. I'll role play some real stories here. Our core audience is college kids, so let's focus creative on that demo. But maybe we should ask customers what generation or lifestyle they identify with. Turns out 71% of our customers identify as millennials, regardless of age data. Our AOV is reported as $55. Okay, so the typical customer spends around $55 per order. I wonder, are gifters and event buyers skewing that figure? We've asked customers who their purchase was for, and apparently, buyers and gifters are 2 times the AOV of users. I've never heard of anyone cross-shopping us against competitor X. How many of our customers replaced competitor X with us? Actually, 18% reported replacing that competitor with us. So, how many of our potential customers are buying competitor X instead? In truth, what the e-commerce known unknowns matrix reveals is that you're never done learning. But each question broadens your perspective and consequently, your potential for predictable and sustainable growth. Here are a few actionable takeaways. Invest in always-on solutions for asking questions and testing assumptions at speed and scale. Keep your opinions loosely held and give teammates a clear on-ramp to challenging the status quo. Build your data advantage on ground truth sources instead of renting customer relationships and letting third parties grade their own homework. Challenge your team to break unknown unknowns down into sub-problems which can be tackled productively. Avoid stacking assumptions. If you have a metric that's been daisy-chained from a string of 3 other metrics, you're probably looking at an unknown known. Be critical of the questions you ask your data. Data doesn't lie until you start asking it questions. Listen to the people and tools that have seen a world outside your own. And don't force data into models just because those models are rigid. The models exist to serve the data, not the other way around. Thanks for watching.